First of all, a hearty congratulations to all the faculty, students, alumni, and the stakeholders that Rishi mentioned, and of course the staff of the institute on this day. So I think, typically most of the very few institutions, I would say, would get to see continued pinnacle of their success at the end of 50th year. Many of them falter, right, in that long marathon, maybe around 25th year, maybe around 30th year, primarily due to complacency, primarily due to inability to adapt to changing external circumstances. So we're all very proud that IIMB is not that complacent institute. As Rishi very eloquently talked the other day, the continuous adaptation to the changing external environment, this is a fitting example, right? From public sector to be a hub of innovation for the software industry, for entrepreneurship. It has been a long journey. But it is also, in my view, a case study in itself. Probably IIMB should write a case study on itself, how it continued to hold the kind of excellence in all these 50 years. I think as we kind of celebrate our legacy, our remarkable legacy, it is also important for us to reflect upon how do we want this institute for the next 50 years? How do we sustain this excellence over the next 50 years? For example, the way I visualize it, that in this room, probably it will be a much bigger auditorium 50 years later, but a large part will be international students, international faculty. I'm not saying everybody, but probably a significant amount could be there. The reason I say that is very simple. As you know, today India's per capita GDP is at about $2,400. And when I say this to many people, I'm sure this crowd will not be surprised, but many are surprised when I say that it was the same per capita GDP what China had in 2007. Not far ago, not in 90s, not in some 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So from that 2,400, they're at 12,000 plus. And that's the trajectory I do strongly believe that India has embarked upon. I think that provides an enormous opportunity for the institute like IIMB to be at the center of that expansion story that is likely to unfold over the next couple of decades. And how do we be center of that? How do we capitalize that? How do we become a global educational hub? IIMB has that potential, right? Unlike China, where it has still not become a global education hub, India, and more importantly, IIMB has that potential to be a global educational hub. So I think there are many immense possibilities for the institute. But for that, what it has practiced in the last 50 years becomes more important for the next 50 years, which is how to be relevant, how to be not complacent, how to be adaptive, and how to kind of identify new opportunities. For example, last year the institute launched this hospital management program. Similarly, MSME and many other programs are on the anvil. So I think increasingly, how do we be very relevant is something which is a very big focus for the board as well as for the faculty, I'm sure, for all the stakeholders of the institute. The other big focus has been really how do we kind of look at different emerging pieces that will happen in India over the next couple of decades. For example, urbanization is going to be one of the focus areas. Similarly, manufacturing. If India has to leapfrog from fifth to whatever third, it cannot do, or second, it cannot do without manufacturing playing a big role. Today, India's GDP from manufacturing is 15%, and whether it is Japan or Germany, who are ahead of us, or even China, it is in mid-20s. So I think that itself is going to bring in whole set of management challenges, management topics for focus for the institute. Similarly, logistics, similarly, urbanization, healthcare. And imagine about 800 million people suddenly need world-class healthcare, world-class education. Do we have that capacity, and what are the new management practices on scaling that is required? So I think what I'm trying to kind of summarize is that while our legacy has been fantastic, we have an opportunity to make the next 50 or 100 years even more fantastic, because we're at the center of that innovation, center of that kind of opportunity that India provides over the next 50 years. And I cannot recollect any other IIM, including my alma mater, IIMA, which is so well placed, be at the center of that opportunity and innovation. So wish you all the best, and I can assure you that as part of the board and also all the faculty and staff will continue to strive to keep the strength of IIMB high for the coming decades to come, and lay a very strong foundation of infrastructure, world-class infrastructure, and also the investment that is required to make this happen. Thank you very much.